Hey YouTubers, just another real quick open question for everyone here. Now, this is something I've always kind of thought about, and I've made a couple videos about it. You could basically go down my archives and find a couple things where I've talked about this particular theory of mine, but I really haven't ever heard anything that I actually really like when it comes to the first Super Saiyan God. I mean, there's a lot of theories out there, and there's a lot of people's thoughts and opinions and all this stuff, but I haven't necessarily seen any real theory that I particularly really like, oh my god, like that is an awesome theory, like I wish that was true. Now, obviously, I do have kind of a, a passion for my own theories, because I think about them and I take time with them and they're actually my ideas. But at the same time, like headcanon, kind of fan fiction, whatever you want to call it at this point, speculation, it doesn't necessarily matter. I'm just basically opening up this question to everyone who's watching this video to basically share your thoughts and opinions, speculations, theories, headcanon, fan fiction, if you will, on who was the first Super Saiyan God and why the Super Saiyan gods were actually created, and I guess for what reasons, for what particular reasons did Vegeta or none of the Saiyans really know about it? I mean, they knew about the Super Saiyan, but they didn't necessarily know about the Super Saiyan God, and that's not even taking Dragon Ball Minus into account or anything like that. So it's really just one of those big question marks that the whole series is kind of left unanswered, and personally, I don't ever think they're actually going to answer it. I think they're going to just leave it open for no reason at all, just because it makes more sense for them not to explain it unless it has some greater story meaning going down the line, which is what I'm really kind of banking on. I'm really kind of hoping, at least at some level, that this has some kind of greater story meaning down the line. And by saying that, I need to preface this because a lot of people don't remember this. Like I said, I've talked about this in other videos, but when we look at the way the Super Saiyan God was created, or the ritual, when it was explained in the Battle of Gods movie, Shenron, whichever pronunciation you like, told them at that point, like, look, 6 Saiyans, and he didn't necessarily say 6, but he said 6 Saiyans of pure heart were really hard to come by. And that's why when you held hands and put their level, their powers into one of them, it was able to create the Super Saiyan God, gave them enough strength in order to take out the Ozarus that were kind of rampaging throughout the first planet, Sadal, I guess, in Universe 7. And then once that power ran out, like we saw it run out with Beerus, then the person wasn't able to kind of utilize that power, and they eventually got overpowered by all the very strong not necessarily Super Saiyan, they didn't look Super Saiyan Ozaru, but at the same time, that Saiyan, even though it was able to overcome all these people in the Super Saiyan God form, kind of got overpowered and was killed or something, and that kind of put it into the Super Saiyan God. But in the show, the adaptation of the movies are no longer canon. In the show, they never said any of that. Like, they never made it that particularly clear. He just comes out and says, yeah, I know about this. It's from the Namekian Book of Legends, which is this whole other thing, but it is a Namekian Book of Legends, and they could do this. This is how you do this. And I thought it was really weird that, this show has, I guess, included and excluded a lot of things, and when they take things out that were established in the movies, I always kind of find that head scratching, because they've introduced so many things that should have been left out, or should have been, okay, well, we made a mistake, but this is our chance to fix it. I mean, one of the biggest examples, and I'm pretty sure this happened, is when they revived Frieza for the first time in the Fakatsu no F arc of Dragon Ball Super. They said, I don't think the English dub said this, but I'm pretty sure in the Japanese dub said this, that he was going to make his, if he trains in earnest for 4 months, then he could make his first form, his like basic power level over 1 million, like over 1 million to 1.2 million, I don't know, but something like that. And that was like a glaring error for a lot of people. It was like, well, even if that's true, even if all your other multipliers for all the other forms, like, you would be nowhere near Goku, you'd be nowhere near Vegeta or Beerus or anyone else, and then look how strong he got. I mean, I guess that makes sense in one way, because Frieza doesn't necessarily understand anything about power levels, but I just think it was interesting that they actually kept that in. So I do want to kind of preface this by saying, I don't know whether there's a logical explanation. I don't know whether they're ever going to kind of explore that. I think it's kind of a cool story that they should be exploring. I'm just saying that they left something out that was in the movies, and it feels kind of intentional. So I've kind of speculated this. I'm going to just share my thoughts and opinions on this just real briefly. Like I've said, I've done this in other videos, so I don't necessarily want to take a whole lot of time. But basically, I think that the Saiyans are the byproduct of godly intervention. I feel like it would be really easy to sit there and go, well, they are able to turn God. They're able to handle God Ki. They're able to have all these different transformations, and they're kind of these mortals. They're not really alien-like creatures that can literally shape their bodies, and I guess they can because they have tails, but they're literally these kind of demigod situation of a race, really, and that is kind of why they're able to transform, why they're able to handle God Ki, you know, albeit in certain circumstances, either through a ritual or training. And it's why, even potentially, it would also explain why Beerus probably wanted to destroy them, or why a lot of people think the Grand Priest is evil, why the Grand Priest might be kind of not okay with them. I mean, obviously Zamasu was not okay with the fact that they used God Ki, and all these other characters that we're seeing in the Tournament of Power don't have God Ki. They don't use God Ki. Goku and Vegeta are the only ones we've ever really seen use God Ki, and I just think it's super weird that the Saiyans of anybody else can utilize that power, and I think there definitely needs to be a situation or some kind of explanation for it. So I think for one purpose, I don't know who it is. I honestly don't know who it is. I mean, it could be Zarama, it could be Zeno, it could be the Grand Priest, it could be one of the angels or the last god of destruction. Who knows? Someone bestowed godly essence or godly power into these, individuals, and you just need to get strong enough to tap into it. But they gave it to them, and now just because Goku and Vegeta are left, there's nothing really to worry about, but that is why they're able to tap into it. That's why they have these reserves that can pull in and literally transform their bodies to pull out extraordinary amounts of power. Even I know GT's not canon, but Super Saiyan 3 is kind of the same way, where it's kind of manipulating your power to a way just to pull out even more power than was previously thought possible. I mean, like a gargantuan amount of power. So godly intervention, demigods, to me, that would be really, really cool. And now that we're going into this kind of arc, or at least this general fan theory that maybe the Grand Priest is evil, maybe one of the gods of destruction are evil, maybe even Zeno, the future Zeno is evil, someone is evil. I think just because these are going to be our new people to look at, or our new antagonizing forces, it would be a really awesome time to basically explain away these kind of weird things that we've been seeing throughout the entire series, and why Saiyans are so important to this particular series. Not just because, well, it's Dragon Ball, of course Saiyans are important, but actually give us some kind of legitimate explanation and reason. And that's why I'm basically making this video, because if that does happen, I'm not saying it will, but if it does happen, I want everyone to have a chance to basically share their thoughts and opinions, speculations, theories, headcanon, and fan fiction, basically, as to what actually allows Goku and Vegeta to actually utilize God Ki when no one else seemingly could do that or has done that. And honestly, I'm just going to leave it at that. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. I hope everyone has a good day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe onto this video. Share it out to all your friends, because I also want to hear everyone in the community's thoughts and opinions on this. And obviously, don't forget to hit that bell over by the subscriber button, because that's going to notify you every single time I upload. But with that being said, guys, I hope everyone has a good day. It's been real.